What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 11, episode 14. It's the last episode in Japan, okay? And we finally get some raw and real from Miss Leaks, right? Miss Leaks wants to be so hard and so impenetrable and so holding up a good front for everybody else. But we finally saw some cracks this week in the foundation. But we started the episode off. Dennis sent Portia some flowers, talking about she need to come on home. He miss her, and Portia has had, I've had my moments with Miss Portia, but Portia is happy, and he makes her happy. And whatever happens with them is whatever happens with them. But she makes him happy. And we're going to get to that at the end of the episode. But we start off with Miss Eva's bachelorette party that what's the face is hosting. Oh, Lord. Now I can't think of the woman's name. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But she's hosting it. And she's got a nice little spread. Now, the memo must have said pajamas. Because Candy done showed up in pajamas. Like, she can already have a pajama jam. And everybody else is couture. Everybody else looks like they've headed to the club. And Candy is like, am I the only one that got the memo that this was supposed to be a pajama party? You clearly are. Because nobody else showed up in their pajamas but you, boo. But they were cool. They were talking and everything, and everybody showed up. Now, Nene showed up. She still was stank. She still was mad at, I can't think of that woman's name, but she was still mad at her. So she's still, being Nene and walking around with an attitude and, and she was like, look, I know Nene's mad at me, but it is what it is. And she's just real extra. She was trying to hype up the crowd, I guess, and they were just like, she had herself a little stripper. Now I know they probably got to keep it PG because, it's on TV and all of that. But, well, no, I shouldn't say that because, remember Miss Phaedra had and it went down. But that stripper was tired. And I don't even really do strippers like that, but poor thing. And he only danced for one song, and it was sad. It was really sad. And then she tried to have these games. Candy and Portia had to take over, honey. Candy and Portia had to take over the party, honey, and they did a pickle game. We don't need to get into the details. Suffice to say that the pickle was used in ways that God did not intend a pickle to be used. They came up with, and that was Candy and Miss Portia, okay? That's who should have been doing the damn party. They probably wouldn't have been able to film half of what it was if they had let Candy and Portia put that thing together. But anyway, so they had the party, whatever. So next thing they were like, honey, let's go to the club. And those are all the pictures that we saw online of them in the club and all of that. And they had a good time. Looked like they had a really, really good time at the club. So the next day, couple of things go down the next day. One, we see a scene with Cynthia and Nene. We see Nene call Greg. And then we see a scene with Cynthia and Nene. And Nene is like, look, it's hard always being strong. It's hard. Oh, yes, he's going through something, but I'm going through it too. And things just are not good with us right now. And she said, I hate when I hear people call me strong because people don't understand that I don't always want to be strong. And I'm not always strong. And so she sort of had a breakdown, and Cynthia was like, Nene is always the strong person. I don't know what to do when she's like this. All I can do is just be here for her and be her friend. And that's all you can do. Honestly, that's all you can do is just be there for somebody and be their friend. And she was there. She let Nene cry and let Nene get it all out and everything, And so they were going to dinner. Last night they were having a traditional. No, I'm sorry. Before that, they went to the samurai. And they learned how to fight with the samurai sword, and they were having a good time. there were a few hiccups on this trip, but overall they had a really good time. And you could see that they but I tell you what, when they got ready to go for that samurai, I bet you everybody ass was on time. See, all you gotta do is leave somebody one time. All you gotta do is leave somebody one time, and everybody will miraculously know what time to be at the appointed spot. I got in trouble one time when I first got my driver's license. I got in trouble because we went to the mall, and it was me and my friends, and my sister was with us. And I told everybody, we leaving at XYZ time. Meet me at the food court. They wasn't there. And this before cell phones and all that, so I couldn't call and say, well, which store you in, where you, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't do all of that, right? I left. I went home. Well, by the time I got home, my sister had called to the house. And my mama was like, did you leave your sister at the mall? I said, she wasn't ready to go when I said, let's go. I figured she was going to catch the bus home. You know, my mama made me go back and get my sister, honey. But I bet you her ass ain't never, I bet you she was where she was supposed to be from that point forward, though. I bet you she was. But anyway, so we saw, before, I'm sorry, y'all, I forgot. We did hear Greg and Nene on a call. And although you didn't hear a lot of the contention with Greg and Nene, you did hear that it wasn't an easy flow. It was very, you could tell that there had been conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because you know how Greg and Nene, they you know how they talk to, you know. But it wasn't that. It was very, you know, stagnant, you know, the conversation. And, you know, Nene was saying, Greg, you know, I'm hurt. Like, I'm really hurt with the way things are with us right now. And, you know, Greg was like, well, I'm sorry. And she said, you know, I'm tired. I'm tired of I'm sorry. You know, that doesn't mean anything anymore. So you definitely hear that there's something that is missing with them. So anyway, we go to the samurai. And again, we have a good time. Everybody's great. Then we see a scene with Nene and Eva. They're talking. And while they're talking, this big bouquet of flowers comes in. I mean, huge. And there's a letter from Greg. And it's a beautiful letter. Eva actually ended up reading it out loud. And it's a beautiful letter. And it basically is Greg apologizing and saying, look, you know, I don't like where we are either. You know, let me be the yin to your yang. Let me be with you. Let me come to you. Let's work this out. Let's fix it, you know. And it was really sweet. And when I tell you Nene broke down, honey, Nene broke down. I mean, she ain't had no words. She couldn't say anything. You know, for Nene, that's a lot for Nene not to have nothing to say. But she didn't have anything to say. She had no words. And so it was very, it was a very touching moment. I just hope they work it out. It's hard. It's definitely hard on Greg, obviously. Greg is the one who's sick. But it's hard on the caretakers, too. And I don't know to the extent of what's going on with them, but it's hard, you know. So I just keep that whole situation in prayer. So anyway, the ladies go to their last night, their last dinner in town, to a traditional Japanese dinner. They have Eva provided kimonos for those who wanted to wear kimonos. And, you know, they sat at the table, took their feet off. You know, they had origami. They had, you know, a very traditional Japanese meal. And, you know how they end, you know, all these trips, they always end with, well, what's your highs and what's your lows? And so they're going around the table talking about their highs and their lows. And, you know, of course, Eva's like, hey, my highs is that I'm getting married, you know, had a baby. My lows, everything going on with my grandfather, you know, and be worried about him and that situation. I don't remember Marlo's highs and lows. Shamari, you know, her highs, having a baby, you know, having her twins. And she said her lows was that she had lost her passion for music. But that she's gotten her passion back now, and her husband are working on a album. That's going to be a low for next year. We're going to let that one go. Candy's highs and lows, of course. Candy, you know, her highs are that her business is doing so well. She said her lows is that she still hasn't found a way to really balance her career and her the family, and that she's still working on that balance. Cynthia, of course, her highs and lows. Highs is with Mike. You know that she's with Mr. Mike now. And lows. Sorry, y'all. It's weather coming through. So my phone keeps going off because it's people texting about whether we're going to have a delay tomorrow and all of that. Sorry about that. So there's that, right? We got that. Who else? I'm trying to save the best for last. I think that was pretty much everybody. Nene, of course, Nene said that her lows, she said, everybody knows what my low is right now with Greg and everything. She said, and there's really more going on than just Greg being sick, but I'm not comfortable really talking about it right now. And everybody, of course, everybody let that go and just were like, hey, we're just going to pray, and we're going to pray for the best and pray that everything works out. So when it got to Portia, Miss Portia was talking about her high being, that she's happy, that she's in love, she's got this baby coming. She said, before I met Dennis, I had given up. I figured that it just wasn't in the cards for me. It wasn't meant for me to have a child. That wasn't where my life was going. She says, but Dennis, it really changed all that. And we're even talking about maybe getting married. And, and everybody was like, wow, that's really, and that's why I say Portia is happy. And Portia got, she ain't perfect, but she is happy. And I'm happy that she's happy, And Candy said, can I say something? And of course, everybody was like, dun, dun, dun. But Candy said, as I listened to you talk about Dennis, I remember that Todd dealt with a lot of negativity when me and him first got together. And he had to deal with people second guessing and judging. She said, but he's turned out to be, the best thing that ever happened to me. And anything that happened before he met me, anybody he was with before he met me, it just didn't matter. It just doesn't matter to me. She said, so with that being said, Portia, I apologize. I apologize for what I did and how I treated Dennis and the things that I said. She said, and I sincerely mean that because Dennis seemed like a really good dude. And whatever happened before y'all, it just doesn't matter. And they hugged, and it was a moment, so it was great. It really was. Because I think, everybody's going to be skeptical when you see somebody get with somebody and things move really fast, right? Everybody is going to be skeptical of that. But I think it's great that we see them figure it out and meet in the middle, right? So anyway, y'all, that's pretty much where the episode ended. Y'all know this episode didn't really give me a whole lot. We see the trailer for the second half of the season. I was like, shit, we on episode 14. I thought we were done. Damn near. But anyway, we'll see how things go down over the next couple of weeks, y'all. Wasn't a whole lot this week, but it was a good episode from the point of view of just sincerity and seeing some vulnerable pieces of Nene and what's going on. All right, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.